Looking at this Chicago street scene at dusk, you see the exact type of localized urban environment where the mid-2000s DIY hardcore movement incubated. Back then, playing in a heavy band was an aggressive passion project. It meant late nights, dealing with empty pockets, and groups that burned out quickly. It was almost never a sustainable career. So when guitarist Bo Lueders helped form Harm's Way in 2006, the goal was simple: have a good time. The members treated the band as a literal side project/joke. Their early performances leaned entirely into the absurd. You'd see bodies flying across cramped basements, while a masked vocalist screamed satirical lyrics, deliberately mocking the hyper-masculine posturing dominating the local scene. Starting as a joke was their secret weapon. It gave them a blank slate, free from the subcultural expectations that usually trap underground bands. The humor faded quickly as the members recognized an undeniable creative chemistry. They began systematically stripping away the satire to focus on the musicianship. They executed a sharp sonic pivot. The band abandoned the short, frantic bursts of power violence and adopted slower, darker tempos drawn straight from the suffocating weight of death metal. With this pivot, Lueders stepped out of the amateur underground and cemented his status as a dedicated professional musician. Over the next decade, Harm's Way graduated from those cramped basements to sprawling festival stages, commanding massive crowds around the globe. They reached that scale by engineering a sound known as industrial hardcore. This subgenre takes the mechanical dread of 90s acts like Godflesh and Fear Factory and injects it into the punishing rhythms of traditional Chicago beatdown. To pull this off, Lueders completely evolved his guitar playing. He threw out the frantic speed picking, opting instead for a heavy, calculated, machine-like precision. The band perfected this industrial metamorphosis across landmark studio albums, specifically Rust in 2015, and their critically acclaimed 2018 release, Posthuman. By injecting mechanical discipline into raw hardcore, Lueders created a sonic roadmap. Legions of modern heavy bands are still copying those exact blueprints today. But polishing an album in the studio is only half the battle. Building a global fan base requires enduring the grueling physical reality of the DIY touring circuit. In 2013, Lueders and his peers embarked on a notorious European run they dubbed the Summer of Hell. It was an absolute masterclass in sleep deprivation, floor sleeping, and the immense mental toll of the underground grind. During that gauntlet, Lueders noticed something. The mythic narratives and survival tactics of the subculture were strictly oral, and they were disappearing because nobody recorded them. To fix that, Lueders teamed up with Colin Young in 2022 to launch the HardLore podcast. Listeners quickly fell in love with the Professor Bo persona, an archivist of the road who knew the scene's history inside and out. The podcast moved the scene's history from ephemeral war stories to a permanent digital archive for future generations. Lueders operated on a rising tide philosophy. He believed the entire subculture could build sustainable, professional careers without sacrificing its anti-corporate DIY soul. HardLore evolved quickly past casual storytelling. It became a trusted arbiter of taste and a literal survival guide for emerging bands trying to navigate the music industry. That influence materialized into action in 2024 with the launch of HardLore Records. The podcast hosts transitioned from cultural commentators to active industry builders. This new infrastructure provided underground acts with the visibility and financial viability that historically seemed impossible to achieve. Looking at his career, Lueders successfully constructed the exact support system he wished existed when he was playing in joke bands back in 2006. By 2025 and early 2026, Harm's Way reached their commercial zenith. Sharing bills with massive acts like Mock Toulouse, they regularly played to crowds illustrating the sheer volume of people the modern hardcore scene commands. Tragically, Bo Lueders passed away in April 2026 at just 38 years old. The community's reaction revealed a footprint that extended far beyond music. He was a dedicated straight-edge advocate and vegan, resulting in crossover pop culture moments like this display of straight-edge solidarity in a packed WWE arena on national television. The shockwave of his death confirmed a harsh reality. The scene lost an incredible guitarist, and they also lost a foundational ethical anchor. What remains is the Lueders blueprint, a method of deeply respecting the historical lore of a scene while fearlessly pushing its sound and structure forward. His life proved that an extreme, aggressive underground art form can achieve global reach and professionalization without surrendering its core values. By transforming a joke project into a global platform for heavy music, Lueders ensured that the history of American hardcore will remain as heavy, honest, and enduring as the riffs he wrote.